Greetings, peace be with you. This is Father George Hajj from St. Anthony of Padua in Cincinnati, Ohio. We're reading today on the feast of Saint Sophia and her three daughters, September 17th, 2021. A reading from the letter to the Hebrews. Brothers and sisters, therefore, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us rid ourselves of every burden and sin that clings to us, and persevere in running the race that lies before us, while keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus, the leader and perfecter of faith. For the sake of the joy that lay before him, he endured the cross, despising its shame, and has taken his seat at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider how he endured such opposition from sinners, in order that you may not grow weary and lose heart. In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding blood. You have also forgotten the exhortation addressed to you as sons. My son, do not disdain the discipline of the Lord or lose heart when reproved by him. For whom the Lord loves, he disciplines. He scourges every son he acknowledges. Endure your trials as discipline. God treats you as sons. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline? If you are without discipline, in which all have shared, you are not sons, but bastards. Besides this, we have had our earthly fathers to discipline us, and we respected them. Should we not then submit all the more to the Father of spirits and live? Praise be to God always. On the feast of Saint Sophia and her three daughters, a very beautiful and meaningful reading coming from the letter to the Hebrews, in the sense where Saint Sophia, in the similarity of Saint George and many different saints, where their personality and their identity has been in parallel to a bigger truth that was symbolized to this certain saint. Saint George's symbolism is that he is the warrior, the soldier, killing the dragon, and the dragon that was threatening the church, the daughter of the king. So that symbolism of the Christian soldier that is stopping killing the danger that is threatening the church herself. And here Saint Sophia is the same. Saint Sophia and her three daughters, pretty interesting. Their three names is faith, hope, and love, the three daughters of Saint Sophia. And the word Sophia means wisdom, knowledge. We know the word philosophy, for example. Philo, to love, and Sophia, the knowledge, the wisdom. So Sophia means wisdom. And the holy wisdom, which the church, the beautiful church in Constantinople, was called Hagia Sophia, the holy wisdom. That it was also symbolized to the saint, Saint Sophia, that is the holy wisdom of God, which is Jesus Christ, the Word, the wisdom, the Verb that was incarnate. And the fruits of that wisdom are, as St. Paul says it, faith, hope, and love. We don't know if she really existed and her beautiful three daughters were named Faith, Hope, and Love, or it is a symbolism to this higher reality that is personified in the life of Saint Sophia. But going back to the readings today, coming from the letter to the Hebrews, and by the way, we don't know the author of the letter to the Hebrews. Coming back into this letter, it's really interesting that this letter kind of summarizes the wisdom. And the wisdom that is expressed in Jesus Christ, the leader. the leader and perfecter of the faith, the one after whose example, who is the wisdom of God and who is the expression who God is, that he is the leader, that we in our life, as our wisdom, we follow and we do what he has done in his life, and we try in our every single day life decisions, anything that we think to do or not to do, in every decision that we take, Jesus Christ is the model. And we try to perform our lives to him. And here the letter to the Hebrews continues by saying that Christ is the leader of the faith and the perfecter, make the faith perfect, perfecter of that faith, in the sense where he endured suffering. He took on suffering in order that that suffering is be transformed in him for the greater good, in order to bring us into the Father. This is the real the meaning of the feast of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross, that Christ is taking the human suffering and the human condition and perfecting it and making out of it, transforming it into the glory in him, and offering all of that to the Father. But what we would really maybe ought to think of and to consider is that the wisdom of God. The wisdom of God. That in our daily life, we try to, or maybe we try to, I don't want to say it this bluntly, but to think in a different way. To outsmart, like Adam, like Eve, like all of creation. To outsmart, to hear, to listen to another voice, other than the voice of the wisdom of God. And this is what kind of puts us in such a miserable state, in such a miserable life, because our decisions and our lives are so limited. We only know so much. And what we think of is always attached to this world. And this is where the letter to the Hebrews comes in continuing this reality that God disciplines. God shakes. Boom, wake up. Wake up. And what we consider that waking up, for example, an example of waking up, when Peter kind of started babbling and telling Jesus to go and not to go to Jerusalem, etc., Jesus, get behind me, Satan. Discipline. And in everything that God does in our life, a loving, unconditionally Father that wants our good and only our good, nothing more. This is how the Father and every parent, every father loves their family. And may we listen only to the wisdom of God and to everything that he does for us. May the Lord guide us and keep us always in his shadow and in the shadow of his beloved church. And may the Lord guide us to be wise, like him and like what he asks us to be perfect, like your heavenly Father is perfect. May God bless us all.